Saturday, the 8th of February, we have 11 games. We're only going to go through 9 because 2 are still going. We had an untrade, is that what we're going to call it? We will talk about the Mark Williams, Dalton Connect, Charlotte, Lakers situation, as well as the debut of Jimmy Butler. Let's get into everything. This is the Saturday post-game show. Let's go balls deep.
I'm the type to get shit done. You the type to observe. March Madness on my speakers, but today's November 23rd. Got something loud in the blunt, yeah. I don't say what I want, yeah. Probably somewhere sunny getting tan. Foreign women in the sun, yeah. That's all that I need. That's all that I need. That's all that I need. Got my brothers with me. Got my brothers with me, and my mama's healthy. That's all that I need.
Welcome to the Balls Deep podcast, brought to you by Fantasy Basketball International. I'm Adam King. Find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at AdamKing91. Find us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere and everywhere you consume your fantasy basketball content. We are also part of the Old Man Squad at Old Man Squad on Twitter. So we've got games, plenty of games, but let's start with the news that broke, I want to say an hour and a half ago. Actually, I'll tell you when it was. It was, no, more than that. 2.5. 2.5. It was about 1 p.m. my time that news broke. Now, let me just bring up the tweet exactly. I mean, by now you know what's happened, but let me just, we want correct terminology here, don't we? All right, so it started with, where are we? Okay, so it started with Lakers say the Mark Williams Dalton Connect trade has been rescinded. Mark Williams' physical with the Lakers showed multiple issues and the team failed him on the exam. The physical was not failed due to his back. So if we remember to last season, he had the back injury. That's where my mind went initially, that this was something they picked up maybe as a degenerative thing or just something that was going to hamper him, I suppose, long term. That is not the case. We would assume this is to do with lower body. He's never had any issues with shoulders or arms or fingers or wrists or anything like that. So it has to be probably knee related, I would say. And obviously, given the timeline that they're on here, and he was viewed as their long-term centre, this would have to be something they found that is perhaps sort of sitting in the background and something that he has been dealing with. No real clarity yet on what this is. Whether it comes out, I don't know. The Hornets have since come out and released a tweet, which was predictably awkward, which says, hang on, I think I put it up on my, where is it? Here we go. So the Charlotte Hornets released a graphic image with a message. We are excited to welcome Mark back to our Hornets organization. After the other team aggressively pursued Mark, we made the difficult decision to move him. We have always held great respect for Mark's talent, work ethic, and character. We are thrilled to see him rejoin our roster as a dynamic presence at the starting center position. His return strengthens our team, and we look forward to the impact he will make on and off the court. So, where does this leave us? Well, I would assume Mark Williams will be the starting center as soon as the next game. Which means, I mean, he's rostered everywhere. Nothing to do here. What do we do with those that were left behind? Well, Moussa Diabate started in the last game, looked pretty good. So I think I would hold him. This could be a situation where Mark Williams starts but only plays 26 minutes and they give Diabate 20-ish a night. And I guess maybe that's just as a way of repaying. Well, repaying is not the right word, but rewarding Diabate for his play and his loyalty, all that sort of stuff. I mean, loyalty, he wasn't going anywhere, but maybe that is, I mean, they're not trying to win, so maybe that is a plan for them Whether this injury is something that has to be managed, I don't know. He had played over 30 minutes this season. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we get more information about exactly what that injury or injuries are that he's dealing with, or they think he may deal with. Remember, these may not be injuries that he's currently dealing with. They could be, I don't know what kind of tests they do, but I would expect them to be very, very thorough. And so these tests may have just picked up something that is a red flag, I suppose, for is this going to flare up in 6 months or in 3 years, or there's markers that they have to hit when they do measurements and all sorts of things. So for now, I would expect him to move back into the starting lineup. I think Diabate is probably just worth holding to see how many minutes he can top out at. Yusuf Nurkic is obviously the loser here because I would expect him to just not play. I don't know whether the trade for Nurkic, whether there's any flexibility from the league on that trade, because they obviously bought him in working under the presumption that Mark Williams wasn't going to be there. So whether this has a bit of a chain reaction, I don't know. These rescinded trades rarely happen. So we will have to wait and see what happens there. For going the other way back, the Lakers, they don't really have a centre now. I mean, they have Jackson Hayes, and we will talk about him tonight, how he went tonight. I would expect them to be pretty aggressive in the buyout market. I tweeted out the fact that Clint Capella was available tonight and then was marked as inactive. What were there rumblings? I mean, we don't know what goes on under the surface. So is that something? Probably not, but you never know. He would be a good fit. He's like a Mark Williams plus 10 years kind of thing, but still he would be a better option than Jackson Hayes. So I would expect the Lakers to go after a centre here. They can't trade for one. It's too late. Is Rob Williams bought out? I don't know. So keep your eyes peeled there. In the meantime, Jackson Hayes has to be rostered. Probably was rostered anyway because Mark Williams hadn't debuted yet. So I think he's probably rostered, but just make sure he isn't available. Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish will come back into the lineup, and probably, Reddish shouldn't have been rostered anyway. Connect had been one of the more popular ads as a result of the recent trades. He's probably a drop. Now, if you want to hold and give him a game to see what happens, then you could do that. But he was barely featuring in the rotation before, and they lost Anthony Davis. They now have Luka Doncic, who actually has a bigger impact on Connect than Davis. So, yeah, I don't see a way that he plays more than about 15 to 18 minutes a night, which would not be enough for him to be a rosterable player. All right. Let's get into the games now. We have got rid of all that stuff. Houston at Dallas, speaking of Anthony Davis. So Dallas get the win, 116 to 105. Let's start with Houston. Tari Eason started once again. He had 8 and 6 with a steal. Not his best game. Honestly, I may prefer him coming off the bench, which he will. Once Fred VanVleet is back, he will go back to the bench. 28 minutes off the bench, I think, for Eason. He can just have a better impact. He's more involved. I think when he moves back to the bench, you just continue to hold him. Dylan Brooks, this is why he's just a streamer, nothing more really. Amen Thompson had 27 and 5 with 3 blocks. Steven Adams had 12 rebounds off the bench. He is a very good rebound streamer at the moment. Şengün, a nice night for him, 38 and 3 with a block. But no real shifts in value here. They just ran with a very, very shallow rotation, basically a seven-man rotation. Reed Shepherd back to just 7 minutes. So we got a little glimpse of him there, but obviously nothing that we're making any moves around. For the Mavericks, Anthony Davis made his debut. That first quarter that he played was arguably the best quarter of his career, I think. He was phenomenal. The energy, The passion, everything was very infectious and very fun to watch. 26 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 blocks, 2 of 2 from 3, 31 minutes. But I'm sure you were watching. He left the game with a non-contact. It's a groin injury, I'm pretty sure. Whether this is related to the abdominal injury, I don't know. They are two different areas. It looked more groin related. So he seems to think it's nothing too bad. He just felt something. I would expect him to miss time, especially with the proximity to the All-Star break. They may be very cautious here with him. But injury aside, I think the fit, the energy in the arena, despite I know there were fans outside and protesting and whatever, I thought he looked really good. So if you've got him rostered, I would be pretty comfortable that his value is going to hold. Daniel Gafford, look, he ended up with a pretty good line, 5 and 9 with 6 blocks in 26 minutes. Part of this was the result of the injury to Anthony Davis. He played a little bit more. The first half, I think he only played about 9 minutes. And he was in foul trouble. So it's not a really good reflection at all of what to expect from Daniel Gafford. So hold him. If Anthony Davis is out, he's obviously going to be fine for however long. He takes a hit when AD is playing. And once Lively is back, who knows? But that could still be a while off. So I would hold Gafford. PJ Washington played only 16 minutes before he sprained his ankle. It didn't look great. I would expect, again, him to be out until the All-Star break. Hold him, though, because he's starting. He's pretty key for this team. They actually set a franchise record with 19 blocks. I'm sure that's what they got. So, yes, hold PJ, but do expect some missed games here. Klay Thompson had 13 points with a block. I don't think you need to hold him. He will continue to start, but I don't think he's going to do enough regularly to warrant must-roster tag. Max Christie, however, I think we probably need to add him. 23 points in 33 minutes. Now, part of this was the injuries to PJ Washington, Anthony Davis. They had to go a little bit smaller. They went with Najee Marshall a bit more as well. He played very well off the bench. So Max Christie, I would be rostering. Dante Exum, look, I think he's going to play I won't say a significant role for this team, but he will play a role, and I think that's good. I'm happy with that, but I don't think we need to roster him or Dinwiddie. Probably not Najee Marshall, but while PJ and Anthony Davis are out, I think we do roster Najee Marshall. So you might get a week or something out of him. All right, that was a lot. Next game, the Pacers at the Lakers. Obviously, the Lakers in the news. They won tonight, 124 to 117. For the Pacers, Benedict Mathurin had 16 with nothing else. He's a point streamer plus a little bit. So he's okay to hold. Thomas Bryant, while Miles Turner is out, he is probably someone we want to roster. 13 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Halliburton, who started this game very poorly, ended up with a pretty nice night, to be honest. 19 and 9 with 2 steals and a block, 4 threes. So given the slow start, he was okay. Andrew Nembhard, I will again say this is why I don't think he is a must-roster player. 2 points. He's a very good defender. At times, but they don't have to play him. When he's playing well, they will, but we saw here 22 minutes. He'd had some foul issues, but he's okay to hold. I don't think you need to go chasing him, though. Same goes for Ben Shepherd, Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell. All of those guys, I think, are very, very borderline. For the Lakers, Jackson Hayes, 9, 12, and 2. So that's a 12-team line, 29 minutes. Hit all his shots, has to be rostered until, well, if and when they land another center. Hachimura, we continue to roster him. For now, 24-9. He's playing well. LeBron will come back presumably in the next game. Luka as well. So we don't need to hold on to Gabe Vincent, Dorian Finney-Smith, Rui maybe for another game or two. That's about it. Austin Reeves, 45 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, 13 of 13 from the line. If you can sell high, I would absolutely do it. I don't think you can. I think he's probably till top 70, maybe rest of the season. He won't be this good, but I don't think you'd be able to move him for a top 40 player or anything like that. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Now, I just want to check. Oh, hang on. There we are. If whether this will work, I don't know. So we're trying to get an idea. This has nothing to do with with basketball. It was just I was chatting to some people, trying to get an idea of some numbers and live shows and Twitter and YouTube and feeds and all sorts of things. Now I can see the numbers on my screen of people that are watching my show, and I'm always blown away. If you're watching on Twitter, which most people do, which is exactly how I would be doing it, I can see the number of people that are watching. But if you could find the tweet on my page and just give it a thumbs up, love heart, whatever it is, a like. It's called a like? Yeah, it's called a like. If you can go and like the tweet that has this show, it's more just my curiosity to see, how people are watching and interacting and that sort of thing. So, yes, I do know that Shining Knight, it could just be as people scroll past. That's why I'm trying to get an idea of people that actually are watching. So it'll just help. It's more for my curiosity and for thinking ahead to next season, that sort of thing. So if you are watching on Twitter, actually watching, can you just go to because it automatically tweets out on my profile. So just go there, give it a like. That's all I'm asking. That would be very helpful. All right, we're done with the Lakers game. Let's go to the next one as the rain starts to fall here. Atlanta at Washington. Good win for Atlanta. They'll take any win they can get at the moment, 125-111. For the Hawks, we had their newbies on the floor. The minivan, George Niang, was in the starting lineup, 16, 6 and 3, 3 steals, 26 minutes. I mean, I'm going to be asked, and I've already had a few messages from people today saying, do we add George Niang? I'm not sure. Look, if you want to have a go, sure. I think you could give him a look here. Let's just scroll down and have a look who they had out. There's actually not that many, so it could be a somewhat accurate reflection of what they're going to do here. Risache, he will continue to start. He is just a point streamer ad kind of thing. Okongwu, very poor in this one, but he is a very strong hold. Given Clint Capella didn't even play, there's no concerns about him coming for Okongwu's minutes. Vit Krejci, 12, 8 and 7 with 2 blocks and a steal. He's very up and down at the moment. I think in a couple of leagues I just have forgotten to drop him. So I'm happy with these performances, and then I ignore the other ones. Larry Nance had 22 minutes for 14 points, 6 rebounds, a block. 22 is about there for Larry Nance. If we were going to get 22 to 24 a night, he's probably someone to consider. Niang, look, he's not going to do this every night. They were against Washington. Just remember that. But if you want to take a flyer on him, you could do that. For Washington, Jordan Poole, after last night's performance, this was fine, 21, 5 and 6. Not as good as the 45 I think he had last night. Holmes continues to start. He had 10 and 8 with a block. I guess we're rostering him until Sarr is back. Vukcevic, 8 and 8 in his 14 minutes. Yeah, probably not. When Sarr comes back, I'm still interested to see whether Holmes plays the backup or they just move him out of the rotation. Make sure Koulibaly is rostered. Make sure Poole is rostered. probably Holmes. Champagne, I'm not too worried about him. Carrington, this was a good game. I'll give him some credit here. 23 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. Against Atlanta, so obviously not the most defensive-focused team. So a good performance from him. Keyshawn George, who was, I think, the most added player overnight, he didn't play, so that was a kick in the nuts if you picked him up. I would hold him. He was just sick. I think it was was it an illness? Or maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe I'm second guessing myself. Anyway, I don't think it'll be a lengthy absence. No, maybe it was an ankle. Anyway, I would hold him. If you went out of your way to add him, give him a game or two and see what he can do. Brogdon, we don't need to worry about Brogdon either. All right, San Antonio at Orlando. Again, a team really needing any victory they can get at the moment. The Magic 112 over the Spurs 111. For the Spurs, Wemby 18, 9 and 4, 4 steals, 4 blocks. Offensively, he looked very tired. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't have their schedule in front of me. If they have a back-to-back coming up, I wouldn't be surprised if he misses one of those. Harrison Barnes had 21 points with 8 rebounds. I think 18 of those came in the first quarter, I want to say. Very Harrison Barnes-esque. Devin Vassell, 25 points with a steal. Shot the ball very well, 11 of 14. I think that... I've talked about him. I think his efficiency might go up a little bit here with the addition of De'Aaron Fox. So still a pretty firm hold. De'Aaron Fox had 9 and 9. His worst game since joining the Spurs, but it was going to happen eventually. Is Chris Paul a hold? I think that's a fair question. 6 and 5. He's averaging... I just did this because I did his player blurb. I think he's averaging 7 points. 7 point... I'm guessing here off the top of my head what it was. 7.7 points, or 7.6 points, 7 assists, and 0.3 steals over the last 3 games since De'Aaron Fox arrived. It wouldn't surprise me if they move him out of the starting lineup here at some point and get Jeremy Sohan in, maybe even Steph Castle. I'm not sure. I would probably hold Paul for another game or two. As for Castle, very up and down. He had a really poor game to start. He was fantastic last night, and today he was fine. It's about the minutes, I think. He was down at about 20, then he was up at 30, closer to 30 here. If he's going to play 30, I think he's probably a rosterable player. Sohan was down at 19 here, but this was the second night of a back-to-back, so I wouldn't be too concerned there if you're holding Sohan. I think he will, push back up. Pretty confident. Orlando, everyone's just going to ask about Goga. Goga played 26 minutes. So cover up the production, cover your eyes. 26 minutes is good. That's the most he's played since returning from injury. Now, the production, like I said, not good. 2 points, 9 rebounds, a steal. But this is encouraging enough for me to hold him. Wendell Carter played 11 minutes. Jonathan Isaac played 18. Isaac is not pushing beyond about 20. Carter is not coming for him. So I do think Goga will get back up to 28 to 30 minutes. He was against Wemby here, so tough matchup. So despite the lack of production here, I'm encouraged by the playing time. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope can just move on from him. Cole Anthony and Anthony Black, both probably on the radar until Suggs is back. They seem to be alternating good and bad performances. Both of them were actually fine in this one. But yes, I do think that you can roster both of them. Suggs is just doubtful every game, apparently, so keep rostering those guys. All right, OKC. My Wi-Fi is bad. No, hopefully it doesn't drop out. Could be the weather, who knows. The Thunder beat the Grizzlies. Look, it was the scoreline doesn't reflect this one, 125 to 112. It was not that close. For the Thunder, Chet was out. Cason Wallace was out. Lou Dort was out. So we got Alex Caruso with his first start as a member of the Thunder. 14 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal in 27 minutes. This would be must-roster territory for Caruso, but he's not going to play this role every night. So you can stream him in, but 27 minutes is not what we're seeing from him. Aaron Wiggins continues to play very well, 26 and 11, career high, 8 3-pointers. Look, he's probably someone, I guess, you stream in and just hold on to at the moment until we get Dort. And Dort was questionable tonight, so could return for the next game. He'll stick in that starting lineup, I think, until Wallace and Dort and Chet are all back. So you can hold him. Hartenstein, 12 and 14 with 2 blocks. So a better performance with no Chet around. And then we know Isaiah Joe. We know our streaming guys here. For Memphis, Desmond Bane returned 36 minutes, 20 points. He should be fine. Zach Edey, this is what he was doing, 2 weeks ago? 5 points, a steal and a block, 13 minutes. Yeah, it's this is the risk you take with someone like a Zach Edey. Brandon Clark had 5 and 7 with a block, so he wasn't great either. They just went really deep here. They went 15 players deep. Zion Pullen played a minute. John Conchar played a minute. Jay Huff played a minute. Scottie Pippen, all these guys that had some value, they just don't. Luke Kennard, 3 points in 16 minutes off the bench. So, look, it's almost impossible to know. It's a little bit like the Brooklyn situation at the moment in Memphis. Portland head into Minnesota and lose, not what we're used to seeing, against a Timberwolves team that was without Anthony Edwards and Mike Conley and Julius Randle, of course. Let's start with the Blazers. Where do I want to start? I know where I want to start. All right, I'll start with DeAndre Ayton. So he proved me, wrong over the last little bit. He'd been playing very well. Portland were winning. Look, I gave him his due. He had been playing well. And then I sort of said, I want to see what he looks like when they're losing and when they're not competing. We got a small glimpse of that tonight. Certainly this is not all on him. They just didn't play that well. But DeAndre Ayton, 6 points. The 14 rebounds are nice. 1 block, 2 of 4 from the line, 2 of 6 from the field. So this is what he tends to do. I think he really rides the team energy when they're playing well, when they're engaged and competing. He plays well, and then when they're not, he just steps back and removes himself a little bit. And this has been the issue throughout his career. Clearly hold him. But that is why I do think when you can get a week out of him, he's someone to consider selling high. Tamani Kamara, not his best game either, 8 and 7 with 3 steals. He fouled out. Look, the numbers just here, really, they were down across the board. So I'm not making any moves. They'd been playing well prior to this. This was always going to be a danger game coming up against a Minnesota team that was shorthanded and had nothing to lose. For the Wolves, Jaden McDaniels had a career-high 30 points, 10 rebounds. So good to see him getting back on track after a couple of, I won't say poor performances, but slightly down. Rudy Gobert had 15 and 11 with a block. Alexander Walker got the start, 21, 5 and 6, steal and a block. Hopefully you streamed him in tonight. Rob Dillingham, 8, 6. Look, if this is all he can do when they're without all of those names, there's not really a lot of hope for him this season, I don't think. Jalen Clark, I thought, played well off the bench. He had 11 points with 3 steals. He brought them a lot of energy. Even Joe Ingles played 13 minutes, so that's how deep they were going here. I was going to tweet something out, but I didn't. I forget why, but watching Joe Ingles out there now is pretty funny. And my tweet was going to be something along the lines of, I think at this stage, Joe Ingles is just being paid to be an annoying old man because he gets in people's faces. He just talks trash, but he's the most just average looking dude around. So it's funny watching him. And as an Aussie, of course, I do have a soft spot for Jingle and Joe. All right, Golden State at Chicago. Now, I'm just checking these last two games. Yeah, we're not going to get them in. And I have to go and coach. For the Warriors, they get the win. Now, good win, 132 to 111. So, yes, I will give them their credit. They played well. Jimmy Butler, I thought, looked really good. 25 points, 4 assists, steal, and a block. Steph, probably his best game in like a month. Buddy Hield had 14 points with 4 threes. He's still really just a 3-point streamer, I think. Pajemski, I would still rather have him despite coming off the bench. 16, 5, and 7 with a steal. Draymond had 6, 4, 7, 3, 2. Very Draymond-like line. And Quinton Post, 18, 3, and 2. But I think really what this says to me, it actually says a lot more about the Bulls rather than the Warriors. I think it was a good performance by the Warriors. They all played well. But if Chicago have images in their head of playing playoff basketball, I don't think it's going to happen based on this performance. Vooch, 10 points, 2 steals. We know what he's like defensively. He's not a threat at all. Kobe White had 27, 4, and 4. Josh Giddey, a little bit down here, but the 3 blocks to go with 11.6 rebounds, 4 assists. Still certainly good enough. Buzelis got the start with Lonzo Ball out. He had 16, 4, and 5 with a steal and a block. He looks good. Make sure he's rostered. Along with Dosunmu, Vooch, Kobe White, Josh Giddey, Lonzo Ball. Jalen Smith had 15 points off the bench. The minutes aren't going to be there at this point. Kevin Huerter played 19 minutes. Trey Jones played 18 minutes in their debuts. I don't think we need to worry about those two at this stage anyway. Well, there's that rain. Boston, comfortable win over the Knicks, 131 to 104. So very little to talk about. Peyton Pritchard with no Drew Holiday. He had 25 points. So, yeah, good to see. This is an early season performance from him. But I'm not even going to talk about it because we know exactly what we're getting from the Celtics. For the Knicks, Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns both played. Towns was pretty rough in this one, 9 and 9 with a steal and a block. I think he probably needs a week off, which I'd hate from a fantasy perspective, but I just think for the Knicks' sake, they need to give him a week off. Josh Hart had 17, 8, and 3 with 2 steals. Precious Achiuwa, hold him. OG Anunoby is going to be out through the All-Star break. So even though Achiuwa was pretty bad in this one, 3, 4, and 2, the 33 minutes are enough for him to be rostered. And then, yeah, a nice night for campaign, but I'm not chasing that performance at all. Denver get the win over Phoenix, 122-105. Jokic didn't even play the last quarter, I don't think. 26, 11, and 9. Strouthar, I said I thought he was still a hold, and he rewarded me here. 18 points, 6 rebounds, so good to see that he was back on track. Aaron Gordon, I don't think we need to be holding him. The 10 rebounds, they're handy, but 9 points, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 2 of 9 shooting. Yeah, that's not enough for me. I'd much rather Christian Brown at this point. For Phoenix, we got another Bol sighting. No, I am not adding Bol. 19 points, 7 rebounds, 4 blocks, and a steal. Now, that's a good line, I'm not going to lie. But if we scroll down a little bit, you can see they were without Grayson Allen, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Cody Martin, Vasily Micic. All 5 of those guys, I think, will be in the rotation. So that's minutes that have to come off someone, and it's probably going to be Bol, Ty Washington, Damian Lee. Look, if you want to take a chance on Bol and maybe you get 2 or 3 games out of him here, he is a good per-minute producer, but he's just not very good. Yeah, he played extra here. They were getting beaten soundly. It is just a perfect storm, so to speak. Nick Richards had 5 and 9 with a block. 22 minutes, very back end for me at the moment. And Tyus Jones, 15 and 10. So actually a nice performance for Tyus, which we always like to see. All right, let's do some quick questions. And then I've got got to go to basketball, but let's see if I'm... I was going to ride my scooter, but I don't know if I want to ride it if it's pouring rain. All right, is Hayes a must-add in all formats? I think he is for now. Pick up Draymond or Asar? Look, I think I'd probably go Asar just because I like the upside of him. I don't think Draymond's got much upside. He's probably a little bit safer. I'll say Asar. Projections for Buzelis. Feeling a bit too attached to Jarrett Allen and Josh Hart. To get Buzelis and Mobley. So I guess... so is the move Jarrett Allen and Josh Hart for Buzelis, Mobley and Cam Thomas? If that is the move... Josh Hart's the interesting one there because he's been very good. Look, in terms of Buzelis, what are his projections? I think top 100, top 90. I'd certainly have Mobley over Jarrett Allen. So I think that's sort of a fairish, but then Josh Hart and Buzelis, and is Cam Thomas coming back, and if so, when, and what's he going to play? I'd be okay doing that, but I think either way, I think it's a fair offer. Thoughts on dropping Beal for Buzelis? Not able to find trade targets. Beal. Beal's a bit of a conundrum, isn't he? I think I'd be okay with that. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Beal doesn't have that upside that he used to have. Do I like Nick Smith Jr. as an ad for the 2-week matchup? I don't know. How many games do they have? I think he's an ad. Yeah. I think he should be. And Connect's not there anymore, so he's got even more chance of playing minutes. Shining Night. This is the best time for the post-game show. Yeah, look, weekends are fine. It's during the week's a bit harder because I'm usually at work. After seeing Buddy today, is he worth an ad? Borderline. I don't think you have to. You could, but as I said, I'd rather Pajemski. Is Jose an ad now that he's starting again? I think they will switch it up. You can add him if you want, but yeah, I don't think he's a lockdown 30-minute starter or anything like that. What's he done so far? Let me have a look. I've got the box scores up here in front of me. So Alvarado has started today. Where are we up to? 3 minutes left. 5 and 8 with 2 steals. I mean, that's what he is. He's assists and steals. So if that is what you're looking for, then sure. Keon Ellis with 30 minutes today. Interesting. If this is what's going to happen, go and add him. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just checking box scores, seeing if there's anything noteworthy. There's nothing too much going on in those games. All right, let's keep moving. Is Mark Williams injured? Well, we're not aware that he's injured. Like I said, this just could be that he is has a predisposition or whatever for injuries. So I don't think he's currently injured, not that we're aware of, but they've obviously found some stuff in his medical, in the tests there that made them think that he was susceptible to injuries or something like that. Some Twitter chatter there. Yes. Won't be long until Christie's in the starting lineup. Potentially, yes. It's whether they want to start him over Klay Thompson and whether Klay Thompson is willing to come off the bench. Goga, please ramp up. Yep, he did a little bit today. Yuri in on Niang. Well, there you go. You heard it here first. Go and add Niang and then blame Yuri if he falls off a cliff. What's going on with Sarr? He plays for Washington. Look, I don't think I'm too worried, but yeah. Yuri finds me calming. There you go. I don't think anyone in my family's ever told me that. I should screenshot that, shouldn't I? Any insight on how we should value Hayes rest of season? Oh, look, I think today's a pretty good reflection of. He'll be like close to a double, maybe. He's a decent shot blocker. He's not elite, but yeah. Look, I think he'll be okay. What is actually? Let me have a look. What's Matkovic done today? Not a lot. 6 points, 2 rebounds, steal and a block, 17 minutes off the bench. Yeah, that's not ideal. Just drop Matkovic for him. Yeah, that's probably okay. Trying to gauge other standard league options worth grabbing, e.g. Keyshawn George, Clowney. Yeah, Clowney I wouldn't worry about. He's injured at the moment. No, look, I'd hold Hayes for now. If they don't add a centre, he will have value rest of season. We've got chat going on between Galahad and Yuri. I'll let them continue to chat. Some Grimes. Do we think Grimes is a pickup? Look, he played, 28, 29 minutes yesterday, so he's pretty close. C Park. Do I see at least a slim chance of the Blazers announcing that Scoot will start for development? I do see a chance, yes. Well, I do. I don't know if they do, but yeah, I think so. Do I think Mark will be back in time to play for Charlotte tomorrow? I think he will want to be. He's going to be much like Anthony Davis was here with the trade. I think Mark Williams will be pretty keen to prove people wrong. So I think he will be doing everything he can to play tomorrow. I don't know whether coming back. I'm assuming there's nothing now that once it's rescinded, and it's as if it never happened. So he is just questionable or available. I don't know. It's whether, yeah, he would have been obviously in LA to do his things. Where do they play tomorrow? No idea. Let's have a look. Charlotte play at Detroit. So I guess in theory, you could just fly to Detroit, meet the team there. We will see tomorrow morning. Is that a 5 a.m. game? Ugh. No pre-game show tomorrow. Oh, it's Super Bowl. No pre-game show tomorrow. I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. Any chance the Hornets just don't play Mark Williams? I don't think so. As I said, that thing that they announced today, the tweet thing, said he will be their starting center. So, I mean, make of that what you will, but I would assume that that's where he fits in. Is D'Lo a hold since Ben Simmons left? He's fine as a hold. I mean, Simmons hasn't been playing anyway, and D'Lo's been pretty rough. Is Schroeder a chance to play tomorrow and worth a stream? If so, look, he's worth a stream because there's only 3 games. Cade is probable, so there won't be as much of an opportunity for him. But yeah, I think there'll be a ton of streaming targets tomorrow. Really just anyone that's going to play. Would I be trading Trey Murphy right now? And if so, how high should you be aiming? Pretty good again tonight, I think. Let me just check if the game is done. No, a minute to go. He has 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. The shot's a little bit off tonight. Look, I'd try and get a second rounder for him. I don't think he will, but that's where I'd be aiming. Probably wouldn't go any lower than top 40, and if you're going to go that low, I'd just hold him. Do a Storm-esque breakdown of Kings and Pearls. I might, if I get time. I've got to write an article tonight as well, but yeah, I might be able to bang something out on Twitter very quickly. All right, I'm going to get out of here because I do have to. Well, I have to decide how I'm getting to basketball, but I will. I'll go and check that weather. Thank you, everyone, for watching. So yes, no pre-game show tomorrow. No post-game show either. There's only 3 games, so it won't matter too much, but I'm straight to the movies tomorrow after work. So, yeah, my next show will be the Monday pre-game show, I think. So that's when I'll be back. All right. I will. I'm just reading stuff. Don't need to do that. I need to go. I will be back then. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please go and like and subscribe and find us on YouTube and Spotify and download and everything. I'm Adam King. This has been the Balls Deep post-game show. Until next time. Catch ya.
You just listened to another episode from the Fantasy Basketball International Podcast Network. Thanks for joining us. And for more information about joining our community, please check out our website at FBI.